right, everybody. Welcome back to the PRPL Podcast here. I know it's been a little bit at this point in time. We'll maybe go into that. We maybe won't. Mm-hmm. But today I have some fellow people here with me. We have my Uncle Mike, a new person to the guest, a bald brethren over there.
Appreciate you having me, Austin.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been meaning to have him on for some time now, and he bugged me enough to where I had to do it. So we got him on here now. And we also have his son, my cousin, Griffin, back in here, a recurring guest. Welcome, Griffin.
Hey, well, thank you for having me. It feels really good.
Yeah, we got a nice little setup, a new kind of booth, a little more relaxed. I think this could work out sometime. So we'll try to do something. So right now we're getting back into it. We'll hop right into it here. We'll be doing The Last of Us season kind of recap and review on a weekly basis. Here is the goal. That would be the intention, to follow the season. I think we can make that happen. Otherwise, the regularity of what this podcast is, who knows? So we'll just we'll leave it at that. So we're intending to follow this season and take it from there. So yeah, guys, I'm looking forward to it here.
Yeah.
Anything you guys want to get out in the open? We got any plugs or anything you need to highlight here?
I don't know if I got any plugs, but I will say I think maybe why this really seems like it makes sense right now is your coverage of the first season. I thought was really, really something I enjoyed listening to, and it seemed like there was a lot of kind of interest and kind of passion behind what you were doing. So I think it just made sense now with this new season. It's like, hey, let's give this a swing and have some fun with it.
Yeah, and the good part about it is, having a cast there with you. I think that's a lot of the fun. So the conversations are going to be a lot more fun than me just, spitting forward it at you. But
yeah, well, I think we like the series too, so we're in for it.
Yeah.
And Austin, you drew me in. I would listen to your podcast on the way to work, and kind of there were things that you noticed that I didn't pick up on. So really appreciate that. That's why I'm here. I enjoyed it.
Well, thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. So let's hop into it, fellas. This first episode was titled Future Days. Griffin, do you have any kind of guess or, I don't know, thought to what that title might be from, or why it was titled that? Anything ring a bell? I don't know if that's a great way to ask it, but
is there an answer to this?
Yeah, there's a reason. It's just a little fun fact.
Oh, no, I couldn't make any major guesses. If I just had to say in my head, obviously it's in the future. I know that sounds kind of dumb, but it's the future beyond what the series was, the video game series. So it's kind of unprecedented territory, I suppose.
Well, the video game, there was a video game. There is a second one.
Oh, there is?
Yeah, I have just...
My bad.
I've actually never played it, so this is actually...
is this series... Again, a dumb question. Is this second season based off of that second video game?
It is. It's based off the second video game, which
I didn't realize that.
I haven't played it, so I'm going in just as blind as you guys.
Oh, I think we had spoken about it in advance, and I thought that you had said there was not another video game, but I think you were just saying you hadn't played it.
I haven't played it, so okay. I'm seeing all of this for the first time. I don't know where this goes.
Gotcha.
Okay. I'm unaware of all of that.
Well, that's my bad. I'm sorry about that.
And guys, this is 5 years later. I mean, that's noted right off the bat that it's 5 years later for Joel and Ellie.
So yes, I'm sure all this meaning is a part of it. Future Days, yes.
What's the answer? Yeah,
it's actually the title of a Pearl Jam song.
No way!
Yeah, so I think the guy who's some big fella on this who has, naming direction is a Pearl Jam fan.
He's a bit, because he had a lot of Eddie Vedder solo music in the first season.
Yeah.
Actually, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So there's been a lot of that, and that's something that's kind of a theme throughout this. They're very deliberate with the music choice.
For sure. Well, they had Nirvana in that scene with Ellie, so that makes perfect sense.
Exactly. I thought you might pick up on that. But let's hop into it here in terms of the recap. We start this season where we ended the last, with Joel's lie. And I think it's really indicative of what we're going to see this season. And a lot of the theme of this season is going to be the repercussions of that lie. You know, and what he did, the acts that he did, and what he was lying about, you know?
Yeah.
Because we, you know, immediately after that see this Abby character with the Fireflies. So we're introduced to that character who's going to be, you know, obviously looking for Joel.
Yeah.
She has a, you know, his head, you know, basically.
Yeah.
She wants him dead. So that's going to be something that develops, and already, you know, once you get to flash forward to the end of this episode, you know, some foreshadowing, it's here. Don't have to wait long, you know, that's going to pay off pretty quick here.
Yeah.
But also like what it's done now to Ellie and Joel's, you know, relationship, obviously, and like their psyche, it created this rift. So you got to imagine that Ellie is aware that this was a lie. You know, like that's what's creating this rift, and that's why she's pissed.
Something feels off about it, like you said. Somewhere in the mix, even if it's a subconscious thing.
If you don't know it at the beginning of this episode, I think you know that by the end of it. You know, it's what we're seeing throughout it. I mean, hell, they don't even have a conversation together until the episode's basically over.
Yeah.
You know, and we spent the whole first season with them together.
Yeah.
You know, that's just...
It's a little bit of a shock to the system, I think. Just
it's the flip of the coin, man. And what's really interesting about this is this kind of... Not to give any spoilers for people who are following with the Dune movie series and what we're going to see in Dune Prophecy in terms of that flip of the coin, and, you know, that gray that we saw a lot of is like, who's the good guy, who's the bad guy in all of this. You know, it's not black and white. You know, there's not a distinct difference between it. There's a lot of gray, and morality kind of, you know, goes both ways, and a lot of season, or a lot of I guess things that we're going to see in this episode or throughout this season. But they're going to Seattle to figure out, you know, I guess there's some Fireflies there, but they're going to be moving in on Joel.
Yeah.
Cut to 5 years later. This is where we first see Ellie fighting in a quite like violent fight. When you guys first saw it, did you think that it was like an actual like something was going on? It wasn't.
Well, in my head, I was like, I think they're setting this up in a way to kind of deceive you into thinking it's some legitimate fight. So I wasn't shocked when it was, hey,
right,
he's tapping, and it was like, okay, yeah. But they definitely pulled you in that way.
That was the intention of it, no doubt. And we also see, you know, we get our first look into Joel and Ellie's relationship today. And, you know, Joel's still that big, scary guy. When they say they pulled the punch, of course, you know, that we see her immediately, we're getting that understanding that she's not happy with fucking Joel. You know? It's like in what he's doing, his parenting. We see that pretty early on there.
Austin, I think you nailed it. You know, Joel is becoming more of a father figure versus just a protector.
Well, that's what it. Yeah, that's
exactly what it is.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's going to be something that we see and how that kind of develops. So Ellie is 19 years old, with that, you know, just kind of an understanding for where she's at at this point in time. But we then see the city, which is kind of cool. They got this whole development going now, which, you know, they're fucking building roofs and stuff. There's the first F, I think. Yeah, we see that, and then kind of some foreshadowing with the pipes full of those thickets.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And this is our first time then seeing Joel in this season, where you obviously see that he's in some kind of high position in this town, whatever it may be. I guess I'm trying to think, I tried to think throughout the episode, like, what position is he? Because he's not on that council, so it's not like he's like the main guy, but you would think he has
kind of like planner, right? Like, what would you call his role, Dad?
They called him a foreman, is what they called him. So he was.
They said that in the episode.
He was building.
She said our foreman's not doing any foremaning, and looked at him and he said, "Oh, my bad. I'll be out there in a minute." You know, that was kind of something I had caught.
Yeah. Okay. So he's kind of leading the building, of course, because then he's contacted about the refugees coming in a little later on, and then I guess he probably has some kind of word on the patrols and the safety. He's probably got a hand on that kind of stuff. But we meet Joel, and then we get to see, and we're met with Dina, who's probably going to be a pretty important character. You know, I can say that after this first episode.
Oh, yeah.
I think my friend Hunter said that she's high on the kill list, probably, in terms of like, who do you think ends up dying this season? Like,
kind of a real heartbreaker, you know, midway through or something.
Yeah, so we'll track that. Who we think's go in this.
That's a
this
fun
year.
metric.
Yeah, I feel like she's got a possibility to go.
Yeah.
Well, Tommy, I bet Tommy has.
Oh, don't say that, man.
Yeah, shit. Maybe this is a little too morbid, too early.
Don't say that. Oh my gosh.
But we see this development in that theme of the father-daughter relationship that Joel's now having with Dina. You know, where him and Ellie's has lacked, and he even says it later. You know that him and Dina's more like their daughter. She actually talks to him like a person. You know, so we see some of that mentoring. So he just kind of has that fatherly instinct, I guess, in some kind of form or fashion. And,
well, I mean, he's getting older. I don't know how old he would be in the show at this point.
Yeah,
that's I feel like I was thinking about this in terms of how he is presented in this season already compared to the first. I feel like he is immediately more vulnerable in some way.
Oh, yeah.
In the first season, it's almost like the guy was just a machine. I think that's exactly how he was shown to you. I think that's how you were supposed to view him. And, of course, there's way more nuance just from the full first season having gone through. But I think they're immediately showing there's been a lot of progression still.
Well, his mentality in a lot of the first season was that Ellie was cargo. You know, that's what he said. It took him the longest time to, you know, come around and like admit that he actually had some kind of, you know, love for her. Of course.
Yeah.
And guys, just so you know, if you look season 1, episode 4, it says he was 46 years old. So 5 years later, you know, let's call him 50, 51.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gotcha. Yeah, that lines up pretty right there.
But we also have another point in this scene where we are further reiterated to that Joel and Ellie are not on good terms because Dina asks Joel, you know, why is she mad at him? And that's when he kind of starts opening up a little bit. He even like cuts off Dina when she tries to go back into the circuit talk to continue talking about it. So I think that's pretty deliberate that, you know, he is kind of feeling it and he cares about it. And then he reveals that he's in therapy based on that quote. I thought that was pretty clever and that was a funny scene.
Yeah, I like that too. I thought it was funny how she caught him as well.
Called him out. I thought, that was a good scene. That was a good one there. Moving forward, we jump into the scene of Ellie and Tommy kind of shooting infected. I think just a lot of foreshadowing in this scene, seeing if there's a little more of them out there.
Oh yeah.
What's that mean? They're kind of building up. You know, that's going to get paid off somehow. You know,
and I think it's also kind of a way, like, obviously, as Joel's being presented a little bit differently, so is Ellie too. Because I think a big part of that scene is just showing further her maturity. And as the whole episode begins with her in that fight scene, I think it's showing how her capabilities as, you know, her own protector and a fighter and a real asset to the whole town.
I mean, I'm going to put something out there.
Yeah.
Ellie's pissed me the fuck off this season.
Oh, yeah. No, me too. But I think that, would you say, Dad, that is on purpose? That you're supposed to be a little
absolutely,
bit?
Absolutely. What they're doing, they're trying to show that, hey, she's a teenager now and she's rebelling against her, let's call Joel her dad. I mean, that's what we're getting here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, the tale's old as time. Mm-hmm. All right, so we also see that Ellie's off patrols. You know, she gets told this by Tommy during this scene. Another thing where Joel is, you know, messing with her life and she's pissed off about it. But like at the same time, she's being reckless as can be. Yeah, let's put it that way.
Oh yeah,
oh no doubt.
Yeah, so how can you blame the guy?
For sure. We
then hop into the scene where Joel's being told to build faster, and we're just seeing one of these moments. And these, I don't know if we call it
I thought we weren't doing all this recap. what's up with all the? What's up with the recap? Didn't you say you didn't want to do as much recap?
Well, I gotta go.
You're going every scene. You're going every scene.
Yeah, but there's only 10 of them. We're almost done.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
We're moving. We're
Short
moving.
episode.
We're moving quick through. We got to go.
that's
through
fine. I just didn't want us to get caught in this, recap world.
Yeah, we're only 15 minutes in.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Sorry to crack the egg on you or whatever. But
That's okay, man. Fuck you.
There it is.
All right, so build faster. Refugee Joel, he's setting. He still's like, don't sink the fucking boat kind of thing. So that's his thing. But Joel is also, or once was, a refugee, so she kind of kicks him in the nuts at the end there. Yeah, right. The next scene, and this is, I'll go ahead and put it out there, is probably my favorite scene of the whole episode, is the therapist scene where we get introduced to Catherine O'Hara's character. Yeah. Who's rocked. Shout out to Catherine O'Hara. She's also in the studio. I don't know. I didn't know she was kind of back out there. Like, when's the last time you've seen her acting in anything?
The last show I saw her was in that Schitt's Creek.
Oh, really?
She was in, yeah. Oh, yeah. She was
maybe
fantastic.
I'm not, I didn't see that. But yeah, like, I've really enjoyed.
It's funny.
She's been good.
Is her character's name Gail?
Gail. Yes.
I think it's funny that you say that, Austin, because I thought that there was a lot in that scene, just like a lot of, obviously, the emotional depth and also the complexity, and I think it was super well acted. I actually think a lot of this series has been super well acted, so that's a comment in itself. But
yeah, that one was just it was a funny one too. She talks about the weed payment. I thought that little subplot in this episode. The weed mentioning, I think I counted 3 times that they're talking about getting high out there. So
it's true.
They're having a good old time, and it is 420. So happy 420 to all who celebrate.
Happy 420.
Yeah. All right. Bud's the size of pine cone, sticky as glue. That was great. So we talk about the Joel and Ellie issues, and she ends up just saying cut the shit, which is good. I thought that was really powerful, where she turns it on his head and said, when he's asking her, he's like, aren't you supposed to be validating me? She said, no, Joel. And she tells him her whole story about how Joel killed her husband.
Yeah.
And I don't know in what regard. It sounds like he got bit and had to go.
Yeah,
I think just him doing it is.
And it was interesting too, because we just got to watch the latest episode again. We watched it all together, right? And
yeah.
When I had seen the episode by myself the first time, I wasn't picking up on Joel's reaction to some of the things she was saying before she acknowledged that he was the one who did kill her husband. And now watching this second time, it was just funnier. It was not funnier, but it was easier to kind of follow what was happening and kind of the full range of emotions that he was displaying throughout that scene. And, I don't know, even when she's like, well, this is the first birthday I've had in 41 years without my husband, and you just see his face because, he knows that he's the one who did that. So
Yeah,
so she says, in fact, fuck no.
Yeah. And something I want to add there is if you watch it, this guy, in season 1, he wouldn't have given a shit. He'd have been like, okay, whatever. This season, you could tell he's mellowed out. We already said he's in his 50s. He's kind of mellowing, so you could see it in his eyes like, man, that was bad. That was wrong.
Well, he's got something to lose now.
Yeah, he does.
He's opened himself back up to the vulnerability that, just comes with that.
That was
the highs and lows that come with it. So he ends the scene saying, I saved her. He still can't get that out. And I think why this scene is so good is like, this is the meat. This is the meat of what's going to go on this season. It's going to be him struggling with this decision that he made and dealing with the consequences of the decisions he made throughout season 1. Yeah. So like, this is just a good, strong, funny. I think Catherine O'Hara's sweet in it. Like, I think she plays it really well. Her house is pretty sick too. It had a nice little, vibe when you came into that. So
She still had Eugene's shoes on the floor, if you noticed.
Yeah, I wondered what was going on.
Well, that was another thing, Dad, where when I saw that this time, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
it does do that foreshadowing. And
Exactly.
And Joel picked up on it pretty quick, too. He looked down like, that's bad.
Yeah, that's true. And I think you're exactly right, Austin, because what is the first thing that we see this season? It is that scene, that moment of him lying. So like you said, that really you could say that the entire life that they have now created is based off of that lie.
Yeah.
And a life based off a lie, I mean, what can you say about that?
Rocky foundation.
That's a rocky foundation.
The next scene is Ellie in her workshop with that Nirvana song playing, about to go on that pistol run, and this is where we kind of see that Ellie and Dina relationship develop. We know they're friends already because, she's asking Joel about her, so obviously they interact and are close in some kind of form or fashion. And we see, you can tell right away that Ellie has some kind of, attraction here. When she's buckling her up with her holster and all that. And as they're riding, they're going to go on this patrol. And Ellie, I think Ellie really sucks in this scene. Like, her character is just like so wanton, it like pisses me off.
Well, it's wanton, and it's also, I won't lie to you, the first time I was watching the episode, I was like, man, is this a little hammed up?
Yeah.
It felt a little hammed up to me, and it was like,
I agree.
They're kind of pushing this too far, but then it, maybe it's just my own, maybe it's because I like the series so much. I'm a little bit forgiving of it because I'm saying, okay, she is 19, and maybe I'm just not realizing how, like, maybe realistic this actually is. Because there's a lot of silly, immature things that we all have done, I'm certain, around that age. And it's like, man, is this kind of hammed up? But maybe it's not. But you guys felt kind of similarly watching.
I kept calling it girl power is what I kept calling it. It's like, hey, they even make mention of it later on, and I'm sure Austin will hit that, but they're like, hey, should we let the guys take care of this? And then they both look at each other and kind of smirk like, no, we got this.
Yeah,
it's
Mike's losing an ally point right now. Mike's not an ally. No, I mean, the thing is, though, like, they're little girls, man, like little girls.
Well, I think it could be more just chalked up to, like, it is that kind of, I don't want to say us versus them, but it, I think that goes for younger people in general, as you are finding yourself, not to say that I figured it out, but, around that time frame, there is that sense of like, hey, man, I know what I'm doing. Yeah. I'm coming into my own. I mean, Ellie even says, I'm an adult.
Yeah.
Which she is. And I think that's kind of the idea going on. It's like, are we really waiting for the adults to do this? We can do this ourselves. We know
it's just that, like, disregard for authority. Everyone has it around that age where you're just a fucking rebel, know?
You're bulletproof.
Yeah. That's what it is.
That's it.
But it looks so dumb. It's like, gosh, it's just bad decisions, and like the thing is they're like playing with life and death.
Oh, terrible decisions, and then they're literally disregarding the patrol leader. Was it Kat?
I'm not sure what her name
is.
Her name's Kat.
Blatantly disregard her call, and John. I think what got me what was really annoying me, like you said, kind of the whole scene. They show up 5 minutes late. They're being silly, and it's like, are you serious? And then when they got off their horses, actually, after seeing that big scene where the bear had been, chewed into, and there's all of these dead infected around, and it's like, this is a really dangerous looking thing. And the guy said before they went on the patrol, hey, you see anything weird, we're turning back. They, they get off their horses and they're walking, they're not listening, and it's like, are you serious? Really?
Do you think Ellie feels kind of empowered because, like, Joel is like her father figure, so, like, she knows she can, like he's gonna be mad, but she doesn't care if he's mad.
Oh no, I think she wants to piss him off.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think she's
not gonna get, like, in trouble with anyone else because she's like Joel's.
Well, and I mean, she was talking to Tommy. Tommy's at the top of that board.
Yeah.
I mean, he was in that meeting, and he's the one who let her go because she squeezed him. And
yeah, she ran right over him.
I think she is also very empowered by the fact that she is immune. So I think in her head, it's like, hey, I'm good.
But that's dangerous, you know? Like,
it's
you're putting
super
other
dangerous.
people who are not. Like, she got bit.
She got bit. Well, it's another kind of addition to that. Hey, kind of, I can do all this myself, bulletproof. And in a way, that's a very selfish way to be.
Yeah.
And I don't even think she realizes that.
Well, she's young.
Well, and guys, think about this too. It wasn't like, what would you do if you wanted to kill one of them? You'd shoot them, right?
Well, you don't want to be loud.
Well, what they did was she's like, hey, stab her. And to me, that is probably the most dangerous thing you could do.
Well, yeah.
To get bit, to get infected. So that'd be my last...
Yeah, I probably wouldn't be stabbing them either.
I don't think I would either.
I knew this was going to happen. I left it in the track. I meant to take it out, but I didn't. So that's the outro. I guess we'll just add that in or edit it out.
Good.
We can edit it out, I'm sure.
Oh, this little moment? Yeah, well, we can do whatever we need to do.
Well, not even the moment. I'm just saying that.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So, basically just really silly. And the whole time you're just... I feel like I was just kind of like, what? It was so bad, but we've hammered it.
Yeah,
but
I'm glad you guys did feel that way too, though, because I was like, God, am I the asshole who just is like
no? We need to say it right, and I'm not trying to like we're fucking talking heads. We are talking heads. I'm not saying like we're empowered by these opinions, but I definitely was not the biggest fan of her behavior. But I think that's a lot of the point too. But there are things I'm going to question about it. I think the scene as a whole was very tense and well done in terms of when she falls through. Oh yeah. And being introduced to the stalker, I think that's a big development too. Huge. These things are a lot more dangerous. They're already dangerous enough when they can't see and just run at you. Attack, and that's when it happened because it's predictable. You know what they're doing, but these stalkers are, what all appears thinking and kind of,
they're planning.
Well, it's just another thread that, is going to push along, not to get too meta and too behind it, but it's another thing that's going to push along this season. That's a new kind of addition to the drama and the excitement. And it's just building that, this is a different ball game at this point. These things are evolving.
Yeah,
I think
it's a way to keep the world feeling dangerous.
Yeah.
You got to kind of shake that stuff up.
Exactly.
But I thought it was really well done, like when Ellie's walking past the aisles and you're just seeing this thing out of the peripheral, just tracking behind her, just so she's not catching it. He said he was on airplane mode, this guy.
Yeah.
But right. Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. Just the general tension of that scene, and then, oh man, her getting bit.
Oh yeah, and that was definitely a moment for me where it's like, I mean, maybe this is crazy. I even had the thought of like, hey, as these things are evolving, obviously I'm not a STEM guy, but I was kind of like, hey, with these things evolving, is there any reality where her getting bit, she no longer has that immunity that she thought
to the new strain?
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. Probably not just for like the mechanics of the show and her being immune, but in the real world, I think science could science that way.
Put your phone on airplane mode.
God, he's got his light
on.
Why
did he not do that?
And everything.
He did it to himself. That's the funniest thing.
We come back to the council where we see, community has developed in another way. So it is, they have some things in place here. They seem like a pretty half-assed council. These guys there's a lot of zombies, but probably won't be a horde, Yeah. Guys, I think it's going to be a horde. They're not really pressed about anything when I think there's things they should...
Well, it's New Year's Eve, and, as Tommy says, like, hey, guys, 4 hours till New Year's,
Tommy wanted to go get baked.
He wanted to go have some fun, man.
Well, but Maria did pick up on Dina lying. So you say they're not all together, but I think Maria's the sharp one of that council. Obviously,
why'd she even need to lie? Is my question.
She didn't need to.
Like, why did Dina need to say that she was down there and saw it?
Well, it was probably to save Ellie's ass and to make Ellie not sound like such an idiot. You know,
for going off on her own.
Yeah, I mean, because what she did, Ellie's the one who pushed that envelope because Dina didn't even want to go in. We saw how Dina was questioning it, saying, hey, 2-on-1, and, then it's like, oh, no, probably 2-on-2, actually, as they're about to go in the window, and that's when Ellie pulled out that, hey, are we just going to let the men take care of this? And I don't know, I think it was a way to save Ellie's ass because Ellie's the one who made it go to that point.
Yeah.
And I also think, you mentioned like kind of a half-assed council. Sure, that might be the case. But also, I think maybe they're just seeing it very surface level. Hey, we have these two teenagers. That's what they are. Making these bad decisions. Okay, whoop-de-doo. There's nothing much to that. How do we make sure this doesn't get too out of hand? We're not too concerned about it, really. Maybe that's a simple way to see it, but
Tommy does go and says something really stupid though. It's like, maybe the smart one was just a one-off. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah. That's kind of willful delusion there.
Yeah, that's what I mean. These guys, they're pretty half-assed. Like,
now,
Austin, maybe he was half-baked. There you go, back to what you said.
I missed you, boy.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh, that's funny.
Then this is when we first get the scene of Ellie and Joel together, the whole entire season, or the whole entire episode. Yeah. When he comes back to the garage, turns the light on like a fucking parent would, Remember, like when kids would use, I don't know what the thing was about that. There was just something about having the lights off. Like I used to play Xbox just in the dark for whatever reason, just things like that. But whatever. Just a little small thing where every little thing's getting on her nerves. You know, she wanted the lights off. He turned them on. So he sees his old guitar, which she's just left in a pile of laundry, I guess, of some sort. I'm sure you felt some kind of way about the guitar just sitting there. Did you think about it?
Well, of course I thought about it, but
Griffin plays, Griffin actually is in a band, so.
Well, you play guitar as well.
I do play guitar.
Yeah, it is a pretty one, but no, I mean, I don't know. I wanted to believe Ellie when he said, hey, you playing much? She said, I'm playing enough. Like, I don't know. I kind of wanted to think maybe she was, but maybe that was to show that she was not.
It was dusty.
Yeah, I think strings were dead on it for sure. And that was even something that I thought was funny. I think when we were initially not introduced to Ellie, because she was introduced in that fight scene at the very beginning, but when we first saw the garage, there was a quick close-up of the guitar strings showing that they were kind of rusted out. So I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question there.
Yeah. So and this is another scene where Joel's just trying to overcompensate.
Yeah.
I'll fix your guitar up.
I think that was kind of.
I think he also wanted to maybe like play it himself.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good point. I think that was kind of just a device to show how he was, trying. And like you said, he was so overeager to be like, oh. Let me change those strings for you, and just do something, and you kind of see
just the shit that just really pisses you off.
But I feel like I saw a little bit in Ellie's eyes, and I wonder what your thought. I think I saw a little bit of her, like, damn, he is trying, but
well, he's trying to do what Gail told him to do. He's trying to kind of pull back the reins, and that was his way of going. You know what? If I say any more, it's going to go south. Yeah. So that's when he goes, oh, I'll just grab it and I'll put some new strings.
Yeah, what's this like for you? You've been a parent. Neither of us have been parents.
Yeah, guys. I mean, the whole time I'm seeing this I'm going, oh my God, this looks like Griffin back in the day. And Riley, they just want to be in their rooms. And
Griffin's still like this.
Oh yeah,
me. What are you talking about?
So I completely understand. I understand. Joel is. It's your struggle because you want to be able to talk to the kids. You want to be able to communicate with them. You want to be able to, as he once was a protector, and now he's trying to be. As I said earlier, he's trying to be a dad. Yeah. Is what he's trying to be. I mean, it's obvious things that he's saying. I mean. He loves this girl, and, you go back to, I saved her, and then you see the tears running down his eyes. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, as a dad, I'm going, I get it. I completely understand. I mean, this is his girl.
Yeah,
and he
sure.
loves her. So,
Good point, man.
Yep, very nice. So they're going to the New Year's party. I thought this scene was really cool.
I love that scene.
Really well shot. The music was really awesome.
Music was great.
You know that kind of crazy looking guy who's plucking?
Yeah.
He's actually the composer of the video game.
Oh, that's awesome.
The show does a lot of that, and you have to watch review videos to catch those things. But like, I watched one, and that's one that they said there was also something about the person playing a song or singing on it. She had some kind of involvement or something.
okay.
I don't know what it was, but
I will say, I'm kind of excited because I really did like that scene. There's a lot to it, and I love the music.
Yeah.
And what you had subtitles on, and I didn't realize this the first time. The first time I watched it and I heard it, it really pulled me in. I was like, that is a great song.
Yeah.
When Ellie and Dina were dancing.
Oh, yeah.
But what I noticed today was I was actually seeing some of the lyrics, and it was talking about like when I meet Jesus, and it was like very Christian. And of course the scene is these two girls,
Yeah.
Kind of interested in making out. And I was like, oh, this is a really interesting kind of...
Well, then that guy, of course, comes up and, says you're in a church.
Yeah, you're in a church.
Seth jumps in. I picked up on that this time as well, guys, because Seth jumps in and he's like, hey, this is a church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You better be careful over Mike. You're not an ally.
No, I just thought that was a really, just kind of that paradoxical thing going on where it was like, oh, this is interesting.
No, it was really well done. Question here, and this isn't saying anything. I'm not being an asshole.
Okay.
But do we really think Ellie has the swag? Is she pulling this? Is she pulling Dina in real life?
Oh,
I'm not trying to be an asshat, but like, she's falling for these silly jokes that they're not hitting for me that Ellie does. Her behavior, it's not.
I almost perceive it more, and that obviously I'm not the smoothest guy out there, but
Yeah.
I'm seeing it more as this Dina knows that she's kind of goofy. Yeah. I think she kind of likes that she's goofy. I think because she's like, oh, Ellie. I think she knows that she's goofy, and I think it's more of this.
Gotcha.
She's I think she's partially kind of playing with her too.
I really like the Dina character.
Oh, Dina's cool. I think Dina's kind of playing with her too. Yeah. I don't know if Dina's even that engaged by it as much as she's just having fun. And she's like, oh, what about this? What do you think of this?
So you think this ends like after this? Or
I'm not going to say that. I think that there's a chance, but I'm not getting this big sense that Dina's like, oh, wow, I really like Ellie. I get it more like, I don't think it means nearly as much to Dina as it's meaning to Ellie.
I got you. But a very cool scene.
I mean, I thought it was a great scene too, but let's face it, what does Dina say right off the bat? I'm really high. Okay? She says I'm really high. And the other thing that I got out of that scene, and I really appreciate watching this the second time with you guys, was, hey, Ellie says to her when they're, cheek to cheek, hey, everybody's looking at you. And Dina whispers in her ear, hey, no, they're looking at you, and they're thinking, hey, she's lucky. She even calls it out that, hey, you're really lucky to be with me. And I don't know if that was exactly what she said.
She said maybe they're jealous of you.
That's what it was. Maybe they're jealous of you. And she even looks at her like, hey, I know you're not rolling that way.
They probably are a little jealous of her.
Well,
yeah. Well, and again,
it's a good scene, guys.
Kind of commenting on what you were asking, Austin. I really do, and again, maybe this is my own little twist on it. I more get the thought that Dina's kind of just enjoying that moment, and maybe is even getting off a little bit on the, hey, I'm going to make them jealous. They don't think you deserve to be in this moment, so I'm going to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of one of those, just kind of shaking it up to shake it up.
And there may be more to come. Maybe there's something to why Seth was in that scene as well, why he comes out and says, hey, we're in a church. Maybe Dina was kind of enjoying it.
Is he going to be the turd in the punch bowl?
Yeah. And something else, we haven't mentioned, but when Joel jumps in and he knocks Seth on his ass.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it. The look at Seth was he wasn't jumping back up and going to go after Joel.
No, people don't mess with Joel.
No,
you
Joel,
heard it at the beginning of the episode too. It's like he's pulling punches because I don't want to have to tell Joel why he knocked the fuck out.
Right. I don't want any part of Joel.
Yeah, no
and
one
Seth didn't want any of that. He didn't want that smoke, did he?
That's true.
He's an old bull, but he still got it.
No doubt.
Yeah, no young calf has stepped up yet.
No.
All right, and then we have basically a lot of foreshadowing here as we get the outro of the episode. We see Ellie come back home to see Joel. She doesn't say anything to him. Just goes back in, but Joel has the guitar. He's playing it. I think that's good for him in some kind of ways.
And I was wondering this as I watched it this second time. What do you think that exchange that they have, what is that really saying? Because I couldn't even decide what I thought that was saying.
I think it's maybe some indecision. Like maybe Ellie is, considering having a conversation with the guy, or maybe she's waiting for him to say something. Maybe she needs him to admit that it was a lie. Like there's a lot that it could be, but that's the meat, that's what we're going to see. And we've kind of, we've touched on that quite a bit here. It's going to be this dynamic of waiting for Joel to kind of accept his part in the lie and, try to set things straight. And I don't know if she's going to compromise or come around to him until she hears that. And I think that might have been what it is, I don't know.
Yeah. Did you have a thought on that, Dad?
I'm not real certain on that, what that look was about, but it's more to me of, I think of course we know there's more to come, but I think there'll be a point where she needs him. And again, it's, she keeps saying, I got this. You don't need to do this. And then, he has that look like, okay, I want to be your protector.
A lot of it's
but you don't want me to be.
Something's going to happen. A lot of it's a front. And, it's like,
I think so.
She's gonna need him. And he's gonna need her.
And we didn't even say this. I don't think we even acknowledged it after he pushed Seth down. Ellie was pretty pissed off.
Yeah, exactly.
In front of the entire town, because
humiliating.
Even at the beginning of the episode, it's established. Hey, pretty much everyone goes to these events. It's a community event. We're all here in front of that entire community. She says she doesn't need his effing help.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's really embarrassing.
Very embarrassing. It's a big moment, and also, like you said, kind of the culmination of these feelings of resentment and just being pissed off at Joel.
Yep. And Gail sees this, which is kind of fun. She still has another drink in her hand, so she's gonna be a fun character to follow.
And Ellie feels like she can take care of herself. That's why the fighting, and that's why she told that fella, hey, don't ever pull a punch again.
Well, and I was surprised. I actually, when I was watching it the first time, thought that after she got bit, she was going to go to Joel and say, hey, I got bit. Like, what do we need? I really thought she was going to. Yeah. And then when she handled that by herself, I was surprised by that myself.
Yeah. Not the best decision, maybe. That's okay. And then we see the sparkler by the pipe with the cordyceps fungus reaching out to it. If you recall from last season, apparently there's some kind of hive mentality to the way this thing works. Mm-hmm. So this cordyceps that is sensing some kind of warmth and movement is, going to be alerting this. Well, there's been a buildup.
Something else I noticed was because when I initially saw it, I thought that was just from that broken pipe that was kind of like offset somewhere. This time I saw, oh wow, this is part of the pipe that is still underground, going however far into the distance. Yeah. And I was like, oh, it just kind of hit me a little different. I'm like, oh, this is deep.
Yeah, this is a tunnel in.
A tunnel in.
Not that they're going to be coming through there, but they're going to be aware of where they are. Mm-hmm. So I think in the preview that this next episode's going to be pretty insane tonight. it is Sunday that's coming out tonight. So this is going to be really fun doing these on Sundays because we get to kind of refresh on this and get really, really dive into this episode, the episode prior, and we'll be...
When's it come out? Does it come out at 9?
I think so.
9, okay.
Yeah, so 9, we'll watch it tonight. And also, of course, we see Abby with her, Fireflies have arrived. So
yeah.
It's going to be...
That's pretty crazy, too. I kind of thought about it. It's like, man, this has been a 5-year journey for them.
Yeah, well, they were probably looking for him. It wasn't like, I don't think they were on a straight path.
It's been a 5-year mission at least. Yes, this is the guy we want.
Right.
We're coming for this guy.
Yeah, no, she is driven. It is like, she probably doesn't even want to, like, no, she has to do it. It's like, it's not even something that she's going to enjoy per se, but she just has to do it. It's like,
I think by the fact that she said, I want to kill him slowly, I think she is going to enjoy it or would enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she might think that she's going to, but I don't think that ever pays off really. You probably don't feel that much better.
Oh, well, who knows?
Definitely
that's a little meta. Yes.
A lot of hate, guys.
Yeah.
She's
was that a little hammed up in the first scene?
I thought so. Myself, what did you think? When she goes slowly,
I thought that was a little much. I'm like, okay, honey, we get it. You're mad at the world. We get it. And I'm assuming that was her boyfriend. Is like, settle down, okay?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like she probably bullies him a bit.
Oh yeah,
yeah, slowly.
Yeah, that didn't hit me too right, to be honest. But I mean, maybe to her credit,
get the point. Like in terms of like what you learned from it, I get the payoff. Like okay, like she's psychotic. Like in this, like she's like really, she wants to be bad about it. Like not just revenge kill. Like she wants to like.
Well, I mean, and to her credit, it was pretty heavy-handed what happened. I mean, you saw all of the graves. If you guys remember that last episode of season 1, I mean, it was brutal.
Flip the coin, man. Like, there's two sides of it. Like, was bad.
It was brutal. And I mean, I remember in the moment, like, these doctors trying to do the right thing, quote-unquote, just, kill shots. Yeah. It's like, hey.
Is Joel the villain?
Yeah. There you go.
I mean... Yes, he is.
Did you have a kind of anti-hero commentary going on when you were doing your season 1 run through?
I definitely was saying, like, I said something along the lines of, who's to say they were ever going to even, figure out the cure anyways from it? What are the odds in this makeshift ass hospital with one doctor or two doctors, whatever? Yeah, but that was just definitely, there's two sides to it. It's like I could argue for either in a lot of ways, of course. Concluding thoughts on this first episode. I'm interested to see how much I enjoy this season without the nostalgia factor of having played the first season. I think the video game also wasn't as well received. The second.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'll say this, not to jump ahead, but I never played that first game. I never did that. I remember years ago watching you play it once or twice. But, Dad, you're shaking the table doing that. I remember, he's got some notes. I remember watching you play it, and I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
As someone who never played the video game, I was really kind of enthralled with that first season. So
it's a tough season to follow. I think it has a lot of like the True Detective season 1, they haven't been as good since. And they're all that's a different kind of
that's a good point.
Storytelling. It's not like a linear story. These are the same characters. But that season 1 was like such a high, and like there were so many good, the video game story was amazing. That's why it was so well received, so highly rated, and is so well regarded, is because the story was just great. It was an amazing story. So the next one, it's just like, I don't know how good the story is here. It's a different dynamic. There's a lot, you have a set up, established community now. So you're going to see a lot of like, the challenges of that, which is, fun, but there'll be a lot more, I guess, like politics and like shit like that involved, I think.
Yeah. I think you said it exactly right. It is going to be a tough act to follow, but I mean, I'm very excited to keep digging into it. And I mean, let's not kid ourselves. There's been a huge anticipation for this.
Yeah, no, I think it was good overall. I don't know if it was. I'm excited to see where it goes. It was a good start.
Yeah, what would you? Let's just play that game of scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah,
10 being the highest you could rate it.
This is our IMDb category here.
Oh, okay.
Our rating 1 to 10. I would give this one it might sound harsh, but it's really not. Anywhere from a 6.8 to a 7.2.
I actually was singing 6.8 myself.
Yeah, somewhere decent like that. Let's see where I actually did see something where they said that this season opened up to much lower rating.
Oh, well, and what was your thought?
Guys, I feel the same way. Was it a home run? No, it was not a home run, but it kept your interest, and I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes.
I think it was a lot of scene setting. I think it was establishing.
It's the first episode. That's to be expected.
Guys, is it just me? But the music is one of the things that I really kind of enjoyed in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
This one, I did like that scene where the girls are dancing. I thought that was a really perfect song for that particular scene. But there wasn't much of that throughout the rest of this episode. Did you all kind of get that?
I would say that's fair. I mean, I myself am a fan of some of the grunge music. So when Love Buzz by Nirvana's going in that scene, it's like, oh, that's cool. But I do agree. I don't know if But then again, like you said, that one scene where they're dancing was so well scored that it almost made up for all of it if there was a lack.
No, that was, as I said, that was a perfect song. Good. I mean, do you all know what that song? Who?
I don't, but on the subtitle. In the subtitles, it showed it, and I'm going to be looking that song up. I can tell you
cool
because I liked it so much.
I definitely was thinking that both of them in it are really good. So this one, Future Days, has a 7.5.
Wow!
Okay. That does seem high. That seems high.
That seems high to me as well.
The ones have been, I agree. It was entertaining, like you said. It held your interest. I'm ready to see what's next.
Yep.
We see the stalkers, a horde probably inbound, pipes. I'm excited to see the Joel and Gail relationship evolve.
And Dina, of course.
And Dina, Ellie and Dina, that relationship, where that becomes, and then, Abby arriving and seeing what that comes with here. So let's get into our categories. We've talked through every scene, so we don't have to really go over the scene again, but we're going to, say what our favorite scene was. So my favorite scene was the therapy scene. Being introduced to Gail. I just feel like those conversations, it's just dialogue, but the dialogue's great. And what they're covering, this is, I keep saying, this is the meat. This is what it's about. We need to see Joel open up to this and admit his doing and what he, what happened last season.
Well, and I think a really good scene is one that makes you think about your own life.
Sure.
And one that has those kind of real world applications. And I know that therapy scene, because that was probably going to be my favorite scene, definitely one of them. I was thinking of just how, that's something we all kind of experience, where there's something you feel like you should be saying, but you're not saying, and you're just pushing it down. And, it's kind of a basic thing, but I think we can all relate to that. And I think the way that they showed that and kind of expressed that, and I think the way that they tackled it and had Gail actually confront it head on and say, this is what I feel about you, and I'm going to say it right now. That was really cool.
And now maybe I can learn to, forgive you is basically what she, so it's out there. And that's what had to
I think
happen.
that was very, say what you want. She's saying something really negative about Joel, but I think it established a lot of trust in her character.
But she's handling it positively.
She's handling she wants to get to the other side of it, which I think says a lot.
Of course, you can't fault someone for that. Mm-mm. She said she's ashamed. It is, that's what it is. So, what's your guys' favorite scene?
I'll let you go first.
Guys, there was something that I of course I like the therapy scene. I thought that was the gist of this story or this episode. But there was something that I think we missed, and I wanted to bring it up, was when Ellie and Dina, they look at each other and they go, well, it's 2-on-2. And they both go around each of the corners and they get their kills. And Dina comes up to Ellie, and I just, it made me laugh, to be honest with you, but I thought it was funny. Dina says to her, hey, did you get bit? Do I have to shoot you in the face? and that just, I don't know, to me, it showed just how, one, let's face it, Dina's really cute. And that just made the scene real cute for me. I'm like, man, I think I'm really going to like her. And as Austin pointed out, she'll probably be one that bites it down the road, But that's drawing me in for her character. I like her. She's kind of cool. Yeah. And, just like I think she's throwing one to Ellie at the end. She's like, hey, I know you're down and out, but I'm going to give you a big kiss here on the floor.
I feel like this actress is probably kind of like this in real life. Like she's playing this really
She's fun. No doubt she's fun.
Yeah, there seems like a lot of just like natural tendencies, like in terms of just the acting. It seems really natural for her.
Well, I think you're exactly right, and I will say that kind of just expanded on what we've already said and mentioned in just a slightly different scene for the sake of, having that conversation. We've talked about the dancing scene.
Yeah.
I think that would have to be my favorite.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of interesting elements to it, just in, like you said, I mean, what we see Dina dancing and just having a great time. Of course, we start off with Ellie in the background, just kind of looking on and just kind of mesmerized, I would say. And then, I don't know what that one character's name is, but he had been dating Dina.
I got his name here. Jesse is his name.
Jesse. We see Jesse walk up, and I actually thought it was kind of funny. I think, talking about the acting, like, I thought he did a really great job.
I agree. I like him too. I like him.
He's got the drink, and he looked half cocked, didn't he? He looked...
He's a handsome guy.
Oh, he's a handsome guy, but he looked... You could tell he's kind of just moving in that way. It was like, damn, I'm like really believing this guy's taking down a few. And what did you guys think, just to kind of get this too, what did you think when Ellie goes, hey, you guys will be together again in 2 weeks? And he says, I don't think so. What was that about?
Yeah, it's just the typical bullshit with those kinds of relationships.
You don't think there was anything deeper than that?
I don't know.
I almost thought there was something a little deeper to when he said that.
I think it's to be determined, because I kind of felt the same way. Like, hey, he knows something about Dina. Maybe Dina said, hey, I roll a different way.
I don't know. I mean, I got some sort of... It was begging for an answer, and then all of a sudden, Dina runs up, takes the drink from him, shoves it down, and brings Ellie onto the floor, and next thing you know, the moment's gone. And it was like, oh, there was something there.
Dina's a little heartbreaker, isn't she?
Oh, yeah, and she likes it. Well, that's why I'm saying, I think she was kind of... I think it's in good fun, good-natured, but I think she was kind of messing with Ellie a little bit on the floor, and what I really love about that scene is the acting. So you're getting the moment built up with the music, everything. I thought it was really interesting how... I don't know if this is like a commentary, but with this community event, the first scene is we see Ellie from the back, and she has her hair pulled up in this way. It was very like old-fashioned looking. You know what I mean? It was very old-fashioned looking, very like conservative in this way. And I think that was a commentary on this community that's been established. Like you said, they're in this church. And she and Dina are kind of defying that in that moment where they're dancing, and it's kind of it's just juxtaposing the whole scene. And then of course this moment of real kind of, there's a real excitement in that moment, and they're really sharing this this cool thing, and it's just building in this nice way. It's very genuine, and then all of a sudden it gets interrupted so harshly by Seth saying, "Hey, what are you guys doing?
Yeah,
this is a family event."
I will say they were getting a little horny on
They started getting into it, but again, I think that's part of the acting, because you see when Dina first kisses Ellie, you see her eyes kind of just like.
That was awesome to have it flipped on your head. Could you imagine that?
Well, her you could just see it, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh man, like this is happening, and you see the change in Ellie and how Ellie's, obviously the whole episode we see how Ellie is into this girl.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
It was just interesting, but I think you're exactly right. I think it was very well done, and it really made you feel something, and that to me is characteristic of a great scene.
Ellie carries that scene, guys. With the way she just kind of like, is this really going on? With her eyes, you could tell. Yeah, she was phenomenal.
Yeah, she definitely didn't think she had it like that.
No.
Yeah, well, good for her.
No doubt.
For her. She pulled a good one there. All right, so moving on to favorite characters. I'm gonna keep it with kind of the therapy and Gail. I really liked Gail and Catherine O'Hara in that role. And I like the comedic element she's brought, like her being a straight shooter, and her love for Sticky Bud.
That was good.
All right, what you thinking?
Austin stole mine, but no.
Well, maybe I should stop going first.
No, Austin, I'm with you. That was a great choice casting wise, because Catherine O'Hara is, let's just call her, she's a professional actress, and her face, her eyes, her lips, she tells the whole story with her face. Guys, I don't know if you all caught it, but there was something I thought was really cool, was when Joel, he says, help me here, guys, what's he say? He says something like, I saved her. Okay?
Yeah.
I saved her.
Yeah.
And he kind of jumps up.
Yeah. And he's crying.
Did you see what Gail did? Did you all catch that? How phenomenal of an actress Catherine O'Hara is. She flinches like she was kind of scared.
Oh, I did.
She flinched.
Yeah, I did notice that.
And it just, the second time watching, I went, wow. Look at her pull this scene off.
It says a lot.
She just, and I think we're going to see more and more of just how great of an actress she is.
Yeah. I like what they're doing with her.
Let me add this too. I said that about Ellie. I think that Bella Ramsey she is an incredible actress, and her eyes tell so much of the story. So, yeah, but got to go with Gail. I'm with Austin.
Okay. Yeah. Well, the truth is I guess we get introduced to a few new characters, but I think if we're not talking about Gail or Dina, then I don't know if I feel like those are the obvious choices here.
Sure.
So maybe we talk a little bit more about Dina. We've already said quite a bit, but I think it was really nice. It's nice to have this kind of fun, confident, exciting person to really kind of contrast Ellie's personality. Because I think Ellie's a bit more...
She's rough.
She's a little rougher, and she's a little bit more to the ground and of the earth, so to speak. And here we have this Dina who's more like... shaking it up. Hey, have fun. It's kind of this cool little chemistry that's being created. And I think they're bouncing off of each other. And I think there's a lot of potential for where that goes in these coming episodes.
It's almost like, maybe this is a reach here, but kind of like Joel and Ellie's relationship last season, where Ellie was the kid and was like really full of just like wonder and kind of like joy in some kind of regards, and Joel was the broken one who was really downtrodden and kind of life-sucking in a lot of ways. And with Ellie and Dina, you're kind of seeing some of those similar things, but it flipped where Ellie, who has had a pretty traumatic life, like
I was thinking that because I don't think that's a stretch at all, Austin. I think that's a really good comment. I think that was another thing I was thinking about, though. It was like, hey, maybe in my head I'm like, God, Ellie, I'm getting annoyed, but it's like, truthfully, she saw a lot of stuff in that past season.
And that crazy guy that like tried to...
Oh my God.
That was horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Excuse me. Well, I saw like, I was thinking about it when Joel walks into her room. She has like a gun on on the board right in front of her. You know what I mean? It's just like funny, and she's trading for a holster for her rifle and stuff, and it's like she's lived a lot of life. Like you can't forget how much she's gone through and kind of you know what that does to a person.
Yeah. Well, all right.
Yeah.
Favorite character? So are you sticking with Dina? Is that?
Yeah, I'll say favorite new character, Dina.
All right, and the last thing here, favorite themes and things. We're at an hour and 5 minutes, so not terrible time. Okay. Truthfully, I feel like that's pretty good, but we'll get wrap into here.
Yeah.
Favorite themes / things. I think it's I think the being flipped on your head element is really cool to me. Being able to look at things from a different perspective is really interesting, and seeing that Joel is in a lot of means like the bad guy, with this whole Firefly dynamic, and he's lied to Ellie. So this guy that he is the anti-hero, that you root for, but it's like, oh man, like, can I really forgive some of these acts? Like, is he? I think it's like it's pretty bad, and like it is funny how that kind of lines up with the Dune Messiah in a lot of ways. To come back to that comment, full circle. There we go. So I'm going to go with that. Just kind of the general, look on the other side that I'm getting right away, and seeing that Joel and how he's going to face these things it's going to be really interesting, and how it bites him in the ass inevitably in a lot of ways.
Okay, nice.
Yep.
All right.
Well, I'm going to go back to the. I think Joel is, if you watch the last basically the last episode of the first season, Joel was doing all the talking to Ellie. Ellie was the one, as Austin mentioned, she was like bouncing off the walls, asking all sorts of questions, and she was going to that silly little book and giving him those jokes.
Yeah.
But Joel was trying to pull more out of her, and he was trying to be the fun one. And now he is trying to be the dad again, or he's trying to be a dad again. And he even mentions in episode 9, hey, he starts talking about his daughter Sarah. So he's wanting to be a dad again. It seems like to me.
Oh yeah, of course.
And he's trying so hard with Ellie, and that's why he's talking to Gail, is he's going to do anything he can to be able to communicate with her and be the dad that he wants to be.
Well, he's compromised his own morality to save her. That's what he's driven by, is being a father to her at this point. That's his life. Yeah. Being family, a lot of family elements in this one, like with Tommy having his kid, and
the community, as a whole too.
Exactly. Just that whole thing is kind of cool, but it's, when you have these things, there's things to lose, and there's going to be people and things that, knock the train off the rails here, derail it. Yeah. But yeah, I'd say overall, I guess what's your last kind of theme and thing there? Well,
maybe another big theme, I think, is that kind of rebellious spirit that we're seeing. Just, I think it seems like something we're really supposed to be paying attention to, of course, and it's hard to miss, just that sense of rebellion. Obviously, I think Ellie getting bit is going to put the brakes on that to a degree. You would think so.
Right.
Kind of some of that recklessness.
You would hope.
We're definitely supposed to be getting that taste, though, and I think that is an interesting theme. Just the theme of maybe adolescence turning into adulthood. I think that's a big thing. Seeing how Ellie is becoming her own adult. Mm-hmm. I think that's going to be a huge commentary, and that kind of goes into the fatherly theme with Joel too. How he's going to process, how he is processing her becoming her own adult.
Yeah, it was interesting because he said his real daughter never made it to that age, so they're both figuring this out. For the first time.
Something else great about that therapy scene. Obviously, when Gail says, hey, well, Ellie's not your kid either.
Yeah.
And you see Joel's face in that moment, kind of like, hey.
She kind of backs off a little there too, like he's gonna rip her head off. Yeah.
Because he does think she's his daughter. That's
Of
the
course.
kind of that's it. That's it. I mean, you saw Catherine O'Hara's look like I might have crossed the line there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a good point, Griffin.
But she's doing well crossing some lines. She needs to push his boundaries a little bit. So looking forward to it all. But fellas, we made it to an hour and 10 minutes. I think this was a positive experience. I think this went pretty well. Maybe some fumbles here and there, but that's, I don't think too many. I think it's going to be compelling enough. I'm excited to listen back to it.
No, I think we've been wanting to do. I mean, we've been talking about doing this since you started running Purple. We've wanted to do this for a while. So
yeah, it's good to get you in finally, Mike. How'd you like it?
Austin, I loved it. I really appreciate you guys letting me on.
We're still going to have to make a decision on if we'll have you back next week. But we'll see if you made the cut. This was an interview. You
the airplane mode, I think I dropped the ball there.
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
Your phone
everyone.
rang twice. You probably need to pack your things up and get the fuck out of here.
There it is.
All right. Well, it was fun, guys. We'll be back next week. Bye-bye.
thanks for having us.